Financial independence. I'll tell you, when you get to the root of all the issues that I see on a daily basis of clients coming in and our clients that we serve asking questions and looking for different things, it really comes down to this financial independence theme of what everyone really is trying to accomplish. And what that means is, at what point are you financially independent, meaning that your money is generating enough so you are now work optional and you can do things under your own terms and conditions. That's really what that means. So when I hear people saying, oh, I want a bigger house, or I want my kids to go to college, and all these things are very important, but those are subsets of the big goal of true financial independence. So what I started thinking of, what are the main pillars of what that means? So there are 9 core pillars of what that means. And how do you get there? Well, number 1, you got to really know where you are. So where are you currently? Most people don't even have an idea of what their net worth statement is, their current balance sheet, cash flow, or even where their protection is. It's like a financial junk drawer. All their information and all the things they accumulate just keeps getting piled in this drawer, unorganized. They don't know where things go. It hasn't been put to the test to really understand what you really have. So you're making financial decisions without even knowing where you currently are. So the first thing is you got to get everything out of the drawer and really put them into a financial model that makes sense. So what is the net worth? What is your balance sheet? What are your cash flows and how are you protected? And then from there, you can start to really figure out, am I optimal? Are things working right? And then you can start asking the second question. Understanding your current cash flow. Where is my cash flow? How does money come in? So cash flow is very simple. You got gross income, you spend money on protection, you spend money from protection, goes into liabilities, and then after you pay your liabilities and taxes, then you have what's left over for lifestyle. That's what it is. Oh yeah, I forgot. Savings, that's in there too. Most people don't. So savings is very important. So understanding and have a clear understanding of where your cash flow is very important. And then you really got to have a really clear understanding of what your true cost of living is. I particularly hate budgeting. Budgeting absolutely sucks. And if you want to read a great book on that, read Garrett Gunderson's book, Budgeting Sucks. It'll tell you exactly the same thing. Most of our clients are horrible at budgeting and don't want to budget, and I'd rather them not. But what we need to know is really what our true cost of living is. Because if we are going to be completely financially independent, we got to know what we spend. What is it going to look like? So then, how much do we spend on our house? How much do we spend on our cars? How much do we spend on education? How much do we spend on fun stuff? What do we spend on vacations and food and all those different things? Well, the only way to know is you got to pull in the financial data, and we got to create systems to understand here's what our average cost of living is and what our real true cost of living is. Most people have no idea. I've heard some people like, hey, I want to retire. How much do I want to live? How much do you need to live on? I need $5,000 a month. Oh, great. So I'll pull in all the financial information and I'll say, I know you need $5,000. You think you spend 5, but you actually spend 9. No, I don't spend 9. Yeah, you do. Because I aggregate all the data and I'm building like a complete cash flow statement for you so I can see where you are. So your true cost of living is much higher than what you normally think. So that would be really bad to be financially independent and find out I'm really not because now I'm out of money. Once you understand your true cost of living, number 4 is we got to find lost money. We got to get you totally organized, understand where everything is, understand our cash flows, understand our protection, and then go to work and finding money that's being lost, like money to unnecessary debt or restructuring the debt. Maybe it's to taxes. Maybe it's the way we pay for our insurance. Maybe it's subscription plans that you have out there that you no longer use. It can be in all forms and formats of what those are. And I'm not talking about going out like the budgeting thing and doing things you really love, like vacation and travel and things like that. We can budget in those things or at least look at those things, but I'm trying to find real lost money and put it back to work on fixed costs. Our typical recapture money is between 2 to 5% of wealth. And if you do that, that could add up to $2 to $5 million of wealth over your lifetime just by understanding where the lost opportunity of money is. And then you got to be number 5. You got to start thinking as a cash flow investor. So when you make money, where does it go? And then how much cash flow will that provide for me in the future? How does that work? Well, in our systems, we can actually show you how much cash flow comes off of an investment. It could be on a stock. It could be on a bond. It can be on a portfolio. So all of our reports have monthly cash flows so that you know. So we have to understand really as a cash flow investor, what that means. Or how do I take assets that aren't providing cash flow and eventually convert them to cash flow? So a lot of tech companies have highly appreciated stock that don't really provide cash flow, but we could convert them to cash flow by, putting an option hedge on it to create cash flow. We could liquidate it, diversify it. There's a lot of things we can do to become a cash flow investor. Or like if you buy a piece of real estate where the income comes from the real estate, now it's providing cash flow. So if you can think of being every decision you make of how do I get cash flow from that investment, what will the long-term impacts of that be, is super important to really living the life you want. Because as we get that monthly cash flow, we can start figuring out how much sooner and quicker can I get to my work optional state, my financial independent state where I'm doing things under my own terms in my own conditions. And then number 6, the velocity of money concept. So banks make money in a lot of different ways. Put the money at the bank goes to the Fed, borrows 5 times or 10 times that dollar, loans out to someone for a car, someone for a house, someone for something like a credit card. And you're getting all these streams of income coming back in. So you have $1 doing multiple different things. Well, they play in a different rule set than what most families and households do. Well, I like our clients to think of, and friends, is to think of themselves as a bank. Think of them as the ability to get $1 to do multiple different things. How can you use the velocity of money concepts in your life to get $1 to do multiple different things to create more systematic streams of cash flow back into yourself without you having to necessarily work for it? That's a very important concept to get. And number 7, what's this all going to do if you get into a car accident or something happens? So how are you going to protect yourself and protect your net worth, protect your cash flow from the unforeseen? So what if it is a car accident or a premature death, heaven forbid, a disability or an illness or something that takes you off your game? Does the whole castle come falling down because of these things that we could have protected against? So we have to understand all the pitfalls and problems to where we're going to get to before we get work optional, before we get to financial independent, because those things we can control. We can control those controllables to make sure they don't derail us from getting to where we really need to be. And number 8, what you track gets monitored. So you got to have weekly snapshots of where you currently are. A weekly snapshot would be, here's my net worth. Here's my increase in net worth. Here's my cash flow. Here's how much I made. Here's how much I spent and how it flows through the whole ecosystem. So you have to have those snapshots so you can just know where you are. So what's monitored and what you watch for will give you the ability to think through where you're headed, if that's really what our goal is. And then finally, number 9, what is the number? When are you going to get there? So if you can be clear and cognitive in your mind and saying, look, by this date, I'm going to be work optional. By this date, I'm going to be independently wealthy. What that does, it automatically gets your brain thinking differently of what steps I need to do to get there. That's it, folks. Those are the 9 pillars to financial independence. And I'm telling you, I don't know anybody that's come in or I've met with that didn't say, financial independence sounds pretty good. I've never had to say, I really don't want to be financial independent. I want to work for my life and do things I really don't love to do. That is not the case. So if I can get that one thing identified for everybody that I meet and talk to or watch this video, then if they can start thinking through those 9 pillars of what they need to do, we can start putting them on the right path to financial independence, living the life they want. See, I have a vision. I want to get 1 million people to that point. So we have to spread the word. We have to get the information out. We have to get tools like our Future Hack book and go through our financial programs to be able to help people really achieve that value and that mission for themselves. We have to find it. But to me, that's the biggest problem in the world right now, is trying to figure out what that is, because that's the one I see the most. And then all the other stuff that comes with it and all the emotional and all the other stuff, we have to figure out as well. But the big one, the big, hairy, audacious goal is financial independence. How do we get there? And that's the path. That's the journey. So we'd love to be your hero and help you through that path. That's what we do. Signing off. Feel free to hit us up, check it out, read our Future Hack book so you can start to understand how to become financially independent for yourself, speak with a coach, help them take you through this process. You're really going to be happy you did. Have a great day and talk soon. Scott.